All right, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and tackle our next assignment where we're going to take the chair that we had previously modeled. You're welcome to also add the bat or any other models that you've made so far, and we're going to make one whole scene. Specifically, we're also going to I want to challenge you all to see how creative you can be here. So I'm going to make a little room scene. I want you to make it your own though, okay? There's no reason to copy mine. So I'm going to start off with a plane, and this is going to be just my flooring. Make it as large or small as you want to here. Um, so it looks pretty good. However, I really want to add some texture to it, so we know how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and add a material, and instead it was, we could change the color, but I think instead of just giving it this kind of flat color, I want to give it some kind of texture, maybe cobblestones or here's a brick texture. We're just going to use that, give it a second to load, and there it is. And I can go in here and change these colors. So instead of having black and white tiles, I could have kind of, brick red color. Change both the bricks and even the mortar as well. That's the black lines in between there. Something like that looks pretty good. So now I've got this laid brick kind of flooring texture. Let's go ahead and make some rectangles, and we're going to make two walls. Again, you're welcome to make four walls. You can make a whole house if you want to. You can make this, a bridge outside, indoors, however you want to make it. Again, be as creative as you want. I'm going to add a mesh and add a cube. And let's see, we're just going to move that over here, and this is going to become our wall eventually. I'm going to use my tools here. I'm going to use my scaling tools to kind of shrink this down, kind of flatten it out. And then we're going to make it nice, large, and in charge here. So we'll stretch it to be the length of my room. And let's make it a little bit taller as well. Maybe a little bit more maybe. There we go. I'll just move that back into place, just like so, and right to the edge. Okay, perfect. Now I could make a whole nother wall, but honestly I'll just duplicate it. So I'm going to right click here. You can also do Shift D, that works as well. But if you just right click on your object, then you can do duplicate object as well. That works fine. Now I've got two of the exact same wall. I'm going to rotate it so that it can be on the other side of my room here, the back wall. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, let's move that back. And we'll just scooch it over just a hair. There we go. A little bit of overlap's good. Now remember, anything outside of this room isn't going to be seen by our camera, so if there's a little bit of overlap here and there, that's probably okay. I'm going to push the chair kind of against the wall here. It seems kind of weird just sitting there in the center of the room. And again, maybe you could make a table. Like, you could really fill this entire room out if you wanted to. Again, I really want to encourage you, be creative, make it your own. I think there should be a window right here. Let's let a little light in. So I'm going to go ahead into edit mode. I'm going to select, by holding shift, I'm going to grab both walls. I'm going to click the letter I, and that's going to allow me to inset in here and kind of shrink down. Now, this little hole that I'm making, this little rectangle, I'll eventually punch a hole right through it, and that's going to become my window. So while both sides are still selected, I can use my scale tool to shrink it down, right? I can move it with my move tool. See, it's happening on both sides because I have both walls, both sides, both faces selected. Again, I'm going to go ahead and use my tools here, my scale tool, to adjust that. Looks pretty good. And whenever you're happy with it, go up to the top here, click on Edge and Bridge Edge Loops. And that's going to cut right through and make a solid hole. And you even have like a tiny little windowsill there. All right. All right, that looks pretty cool. Let's put something behind the window, right? If you're looking out the window, let's add something. So down here in my downloads folder, I just have an image of some landscape. And if you drag and drop, it will automatically put that landscape onto a plane and just put it into 3D space. So I can scale it, I can rotate it, I can move it around, and we're going to make it really, really large and just plunk it kind of on the outside of this window. Let's just adjust this here real quick. Right? Oop, oop. Watch out there. Doesn't have to be perfect, just for reference. And again, remember that anything outside of the camera won't actually be seen, right? So If this doesn't totally match, that's okay. We're going to push it back into space because what's kind of cool is by pushing it back, I can get a little bit of a sense of distance, right? See that? Almost like you're looking out a window. It's kind of cool. Get that little parallax kind of feel to it. All right, neat. All right, so now let's play with our light source. So automatically here, I've already got one lighting. Actually, before we do that, let's go over here. I'm going to add some texture to our walls. Let's pick something. I could pick a different color, I suppose. Let's go crazy. Let's pick another texture. I don't want to make it metallic or shiny. Let's do something we haven't done. I could do a checkerboard. Oh yeah, let's do this one. I don't know what this does. Okay, loading. Whoa. Okay, I like that. Okay, so we're gonna say my house has this crazy wallpaper. It totally clashes with the floor, but who cares? I think it looks really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and select the other wall here real quick, and we'll do the exact same texture. And again, I'm just clicking on that yellow dot next to base color, and that gives me some preloaded textures. There we go. Okay. All right, so I've got my room with this crazy cool wallpaper. I've got a window. I've got my chair. Okay, now we're ready for lighting, I think. I think we're ready. Okay. So a couple things to think about. So we've got this light source here, but I can't really see where it's at, right? I can change its color, but again, that doesn't really do anything because we right now are just looking at the materials window. If you click on the rendered window, or rendered view, now I can see, look, it's casting a live light source, right? And again, I can change the color of this light. So if you want a red light or a pink light or blue or any color you can think of, you can change this light source. You can also add more light sources. You can have a sun, you can have a spotlight, anything you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and make, let's see what this does. This is kind of a source light here, just kind of an ambient glow, as if it's coming from nowhere, really. It's kind of cool. We'll just put it right there on top of that chair. Really add a sense of focus to make sure that the audience's viewing is looking at this chair. That's the main focal point. All right, that's cool. Let's see what else. I'm going to add another light source. I want to make one that's kind of in place of the sun. So I'm going to make a lamp, and we'll make it kind of big here. Oops. There we go. Kind of large. And you can adjust the way that this light works by changing its power, right? So let's move it. I can change it. It's going to be sunlight, right? So there's its power, a little bit brighter. We'll push it outdoors because that's where the sun's coming from, right? Kind of the top left-hand corner there. Look, it's already casting a shadow. We'll make it a little more yellow. Let's really crank up the power. We could even go, and that's pretty good. Look at that little cast shadow. And see what's cool is that light is actually casting a shadow through that window as if it's a real object, right? There's our inside light. I had just clicked on that eyeball there to make it disappear. So we can tone that down a little bit. Let's make it a lot smaller. There we go. So kind of a little bit darker. Really let that morning light shine through that window. Okay, let's add one more light source. Right about, let's see, we'll do another just lamp is fine. We'll just tuck it off here in the corner as if there's maybe a lamp on a countertop or something out of the scene, right about there. And again, you can change its intensity, its power. That looks pretty good. All right, you know, I think I want even more intense outside light. Let's turn this one up a little bit, this kind of ceiling lamp. That's pretty good. But I think we're going to grab this lamp outdoors here, and I want to crank it up like all the way. I'm going to type it in here. We're going to do 1,000. Wow, look at that. Isn't that cool? That light is coming through that window. And I could even animate this light if I wanted to, just like I could animate the camera. Now, one thing to take into account is that 3-point lighting, this assignment, technically looks more like this, right? You have kind of a left and a right and a backlight, and that really fills the space. For this project here, we're just kind of playing around, but in the future, I really want to encourage you, especially for this assignment, make sure that you are staying to the strict ideals of a 3-point light setup. And again, looks just like this. Okay, thanks everyone. Have fun.